Typesetting is hard. Typesetting is very hard.
Before a book hits the shelves of your local bookstore, it must first go through a process called typesetting, which basically is formatting the book for print and digital distribution. It's an often overlooked aspect of publishing, but it determines the size of the book and the details on the pages. My book, Vicious Circle, is a young adult science fiction novel, which, based on genre expectations, a 5x9 or 6x9 sizing. So I pulled some books from my bookshelf to get a feel for what I expected my book to turn out to be. My first novel, Generation of the Last Hour, is about 90,000 words and has a 6x9 format. Meanwhile, the edition of Ender's Game on my shelf is about 4.5 by 5 inches, and the novel has about 100,000 words in it. As you can see, the thickness isn't much different, but the typesetting here is what matters. My last novel had a larger font size on the pages. The Ender's Game edition I have has a very small font type to make up for the lack of page space, and to keep the overall book size manageable. Now, when I began my typesetting process, I expected Vicious Circle to be similar in size and thickness to Generation of the Last Hour, despite the understanding that Vicious Circle is about 150,000 words.
So as I'm trying to typeset this, it stopped, like, you put it in the file and it flows and it creates all the pages you need. But then I'm almost a few chapters to the end, like just making sure preliminary stuff, making sure all the chapter titles are at the top of the page when it needs to be. And then within 10 chapters to go, it stopped doing the little flow where it connects all the pages together. So now I'm struggling. I'm on the struggle bus right now, trying to fix it. Once you understand how to make it work, it goes very smoothly. But I don't know InDesign well enough to troubleshoot some of these things, so I'm probably going about this way wrong. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm just having to copy and paste the rest of the entire book again into these last pages and then delete the sections that I don't need, delete all but the last few chapters. There's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know how to do that because I'm not an expert in design. I'm mediocre at best. But regardless, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna make it work. Typesetting is hard. Typesetting is very hard. But I'm getting there, and it's gonna get done. I need coffee.
Once I got to the end of the preliminary typesetting, though, I realized that Vicious Circle may end up looking more like Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, which is a little larger than 6.5 by 9.5 inches. But from some simple math, knowing there's on average about 300 words per page, and this book has 672 pages, that's roughly 200,000 words, give or take, depending on the formatting. So while it's not a perfect match, I have a basic benchmark that shows me Vicious Circle may end up being somewhere between Generation of the Last Hour and Ordinary Monsters in size. Currently, I have 551 pages in the InDesign document for Vicious Circle, but for the most part, I have a final tally. Now that that's out of the way, it's time to figure out the finer details. Generation of the Last Hour has no details on the inside of the pages. No page count, no section headers. This book was published by a small indie publisher, and being a college student at the time, I was just too excited to have someone interested in it to realize some finer details were missing. I actually didn't even notice until I started filming the B-roll for this video. Ender's Game has Orson Scott's name on the left page and the book title on the right, with the page numbers on the top of the pages to bookend the section headings. J.M. Miro does the same thing, separating the section title and page numbers with a little dot. I kind of like this formatting, so I'll probably do something similar for Vicious Circle. Scene breaks are another detail that I have to figure out. Generation of the Last Hour had 4 stars separating the scenes. Ender's Game has this weird thing where it has multiple points of view in the same chapter, separated by different font styles. It's not ideal. It was incredibly hard to adjust to it as a reader. J.M. Miro's Ordinary Monsters simply has a few spaces separating the scenes. I will probably avoid this because visually it can look a little confusing, almost like it's a formatting error even though it's not.
So once I'm done typesetting, I'm almost done, not quite there yet, still figuring out the details, but once I'm done typesetting, then what's next is to figure out the cover dimensions, which once the cover details are finalized, I'll probably do a cover reveal if you're interested, and some other back-end stuff that involves Ingram Spark, and I'll probably end up doing some videos on that as well, because marketing is time consuming and marketing is resource intensive. And while I am a marketer, marketing communications strategist in my profession, it requires a team, and I just have me. I originally thought that I'd be able to hire a few people to help me out. I don't know if that will be the case anymore, for a number of reasons. So it might just be me marketing things by myself, and setting things up, which is fine. I just need to give myself enough time to do that, and really be mindful and strategic in what types of advertising I use, and what types of book awards I enter the book into. But yeah, so that is the update on that. Let me know in the comments below if you found this interesting, helpful, whatever. I have lots in store for this book launch, and if you want to be the first to know, then sign up for the newsletter, the link below. Until next time.